This is how you can make hard trap beats. Today I'm gonna go over all the different components that you need for your beat to be hard. From music theory all the way to those hard hitting drums, I'm gonna show you how you can achieve that sound. Let's jump right into it. First, you need a dark, catchy melody. A lot of these trap beats that you hear are in the Phrygian mode. To select the scale, you go in your piano roll options, view, scale highlighting, and right click on Phrygian to keep the window open. And you can choose D sharp because the 808 sounds great on that root note. Here's the main melody I came up with. When you compose in Phrygian, you want to be using that second degree of the scale because it's characterized by it. The only difference between minor natural and Phrygian is that second degree, which is one semitone lower. So if you don't use it, you'll just end up making a beat in the minor scale. Here's the second melody I came up with, which is actually a chord progression. This is the 1-2 chord progression. We have our 1 chord on the root note of the scale, and here's our 2 chord on the second degree using only the 1st and 5th of that chord. All these numbers can get very confusing, so just try to understand that every scale has 7 degrees, and the 1st degree is the root note of the scale. You can build chords on each one of these degrees, and each chord has its own degrees as well. So let's just keep going. I added some extra notes on the second half of the loop just to create some variation. I also layered that main melody with 2 other sounds from Omnisphere. After that, you can add some bass to create some climax before the drops. I layered that with a piano. Before we get into the drums, let me show you what kind of effects you can add on your sounds to make them more interesting. This sound could use some love, so I added a delay. I also added a bit crusher called Decimort. This plugin gives any sound a different color and adds that vintage sampler texture. I also love to put guitar rig on my bass to add some color. Here's without it. And here's with a guitar rig preset. When it comes to the drums, I usually set my 808s to match the root notes of the chords that I used, but you can definitely go crazy and experiment with different pitches because at the end of the day, the 808 is just another melodic instrument. You can also create a snare roll. Here I made one using triplets. For the hi-hats, you can fill each 2 steps, but you can also create some bounce using the 1/6 of a beat. You definitely want to boost the gain of your 808 5 to 10% and just add a soft clipper on the master. Me personally, I like to create a drum bus and put the fruity soft clipper on there to not have the drums distort the rest of the instruments. But if you do this, you're going to want to master your beat. Either send it to Lander using Ozone or even FL Stock plugins to make it as loud as possible after. Now let's hear the full beat with an extra plugin that I added before every drop. It's called Looperator. Check this out.